And we're live. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here with SIENNA Thomas this morning. We're going to be talking about buying your first investment property.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are we this morning?
I'm good. First morning minutes for me, actually.
Oh, wow.
It's very exciting.
I think it's the first morning minutes with me as well.
There we go. Fresh faces today, everyone. So guys, today we're going to be talking about buying your first investment property, looking at some of the things you should do, shouldn't do, some of the pitfalls, some of the easy traps that there is, because it's something that's probably not as commonly talked about. And when you think about first home buyers, talking about buying your first property to live in, or you talk about investors, and everyone always has this assumption you're a big property guru that already knows heaps about property. But buying your first investment property, something that's probably a little bit more niche, and we're going to answer some questions today.
Yeah, so I came up with about 3 questions to ask Michael today. And since I'm in rental property management, this is going to be kind of based off his kind of ideas and thoughts. So my main question for you, Michael, is what are the key issues to consider as a potential buyer purchasing a property?
So if you're looking to buy your first investment property, the biggest thing I'd say is, the biggest issue with a lot of them is people are trying to make a quick buck. So with investment properties are a very long-term transaction in terms of the way you make money in it is holding long-term, 5, 10, 20, 30 years plus. And so what a lot of people are looking for is that sort of get-rich-quick scheme almost, where they're going, okay, well, what's the new hottest thing that I might be able to quickly do a flip or something that's going to jump up in value quickly? The biggest piece of advice there I can recommend is look for something with strong fundamentals. Don't take the risk of trying to look for something that's going to quickly jump up in value, or something that has maybe something that's too good to be true with it. You just want something with good, strong fundamentals. And especially with your first investment transaction, you want something that's just going to be a great base that you can be able to leverage off in the future as well.
And do you see that often with most first home buyers or investment property buyers?
It depends. So it depends on the advice that some people have been given. If you're being given advice from someone that probably has had experience with it themselves, generally they're going to point you in the right direction to avoid some of the pitfalls. Sometimes I find if people maybe don't have the right advice being given to them, they can sometimes go a little bit astray on it. And it is all part of the learning process as well, in terms of understanding, because there's so much to do when you're buying a property as well, especially from an investment perspective. Also looking at the potential rental return, vacancy rates, strata in terms of how much your outgoing is going to be. All things that now you've got to look at it in a different light compared to when you're purchasing to live in.
Definitely. And also we like to consider the maintenance of the property as well. I was doing actually a little bit of research on sinking funds yesterday about how, the strata is maintaining the building. Is as a potential buyer, you want to make sure that there's actually funds in that sinking fund. So if there was to have anything happen to that property, including the carpet inside the the stairwell, if that was to be damaged, or if it was technically not in good condition, the sinking funds would help to replace that carpet essentially. So buyers really want to look at if there's sinking funds available in that building. Also, I want to ask, how is it important in management for the property to have, in terms of, let me rephrase that question. How important is management of the property in terms of investment returns?
So you really, really want a good property manager when it comes to investment property. So a lot of people...
Shout out to Cleo Whittier.
A lot of people, and this is from my personal experience as well, people sometimes think, it's my first investment property, I can look after it myself. No one's going to know better than me. At least I can be hands-on with it. Having that degree of separation, having a good property manager is worth its weight in gold. The fees you pay for property management relative to how much time and energy and expertise you try and use yourself, it's just so, it easily outweighs the pros and the cons from it. So like for investment property, for example, for let's say you're renting it for $500, $600 a week, you're management fees are going to be, give or take, maybe $40 odd a week, something like that. If you amortize out how many hours a week you as an individual are going to spend managing your property yourself, if you spend 1, 2, 3, 4 hours, straight away, when you think about what your time's worth, you're paying yourself $10 an hour to manage your property and you're not the expert at it, it just doesn't make sense, as well as all the risk you're going to take with it as well. You're better off getting an expert to manage it. And that way you just have that peace of mind also. Like, you know that when something happens, there's someone actually knows what they're talking about. That's going to be on the other side there, fixing all your problems for you as well. So management's a really, really crucial thing. I think definitely just keeping it simple with your first property purchase as well. Going like Sienna was saying before, in terms of the sinking fund and so forth, you just want to, when you're looking at a strata report, when you're purchasing a property, you just want something with a good, clean strata that doesn't have a whole heap going on. Every block's got something, but it's more just making sure you buy something that you understand, get experts to advise you on it, so that way you know what you're getting yourself into. I do see a lot of sometimes inexperienced buyers jump into a strata maybe they don't fully understand, and then they haven't budgeted for what might be coming up, and it puts them into a bit of a tailspin.
Definitely. And also, this is a frequent question that's asked in a lot of in real estate. Since there has been a significant increase in inquiries of prospective tenants, do you think, is it there any of a best time to buy your first investment property? I
think the best time to buy is as soon as you can when it comes to getting into the property market, especially now with everything changing so much. So yes, definitely.
Because it is a bit of a tricky question when it comes to, when is it the best time to buy your first property? Your first property.
The honest truth is when you can buy, because like I probably alluded to at the beginning, it's time in the market.
Yep.
So there's no point specifically waiting for, maybe this time next year or maybe the year after that. Once you're in a firm position, you can buy. You've done all your research. You know what you're going to be getting yourself into. Buy, hold. And like Sienna said, the good thing is tenants at the moment, or on the rental side of things, the market's actually very, very strong, which is great because that's pretty much offsetting all the increase in interest rates, or helping to offset that.
What I was just about to say, do you think interest rates are affecting the price of property, or 100%. What are your thoughts on it?
100%. So definitely, obviously, the increase in interest rates is what's helped push property prices down. Stock's very low at the moment, so that's sort of counteracting that a little bit as well. But from an investment perspective, you just got to be aware of, okay, interest rates are at X amount, my rent's going to be X amount, my outgoing to so much. So that way you know on your balance sheet how much is going in and out each year, and you just need to account for it. Because what you'll find is in the wash, a smaller amount of cash flow will be going out relative to the amount of inflow in terms of long-term capital growth you make. It far outweighs it.
Yeah.
But you've got to be in a position you can hold on to it.
Well, thanks, Michael. That was a lot of knowledge in 15 minutes.
I know, it was very quick, wasn't it?
I've run down of questions. I think he's answered them all in a big bundle of it. So,
biggest thing is, look, when you're wanting to buy an investment property, a couple of pointers, I would say is obviously from everything we've already been through, keep it simple. I just think buying in something that, what's the best way for it? Buy in a market, some people look, when they're going to buy their first investment property, they go to buy probably in some place that they don't fully understand, maybe because it's cheap or what it might be. Look at what your borrowing capacity is. So speak to a good broker, work out how much you can borrow, and then look at areas that you do know that's in that price point. Because the biggest way that people probably lose out is investing in things they don't understand. That's probably more of a broader statement across all investment portals. But especially in property as well, the best way to make money is to buy somewhere you do understand. Because the lovely thing about property is, even if you don't nail it straight away, long term, the property market will probably cancel out your mistakes and you'll still make money anyway.
Awesome. Well said, Michael.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us today, guys.
Any questions as well, feel free to pop it in the comment section as well. Happy to answer it afterwards as well.
Have a nice day, guys.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Bye now.
Cheers.